What is going on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of my series Scrims for Dummies. In today's video, I'll be covering anything and everything mid-game. The three main points I'll be discussing in this video are when you should and shouldn't take mid-game fights, how to rotate, and where to rotate to. So yeah, let's jump right into it. First, let's define what is mid-game. I classify mid-game as the time between zones 2 and 5, 5 being when half and half appears. This period of the game is crucial to set yourself up for a successful endgame. Let's begin with mid-game fights. Rule number 1, don't take mid-game fights. Mid-game fights are almost never a good idea for a few reasons. First, you're going to get third-partied. No player is going to pass up on an opportunity to take some shots at you with a chance of killing you, and no risk on their end. And if they tag you a lot, they could push you, and now you're in a 3-person fight. Second, mid-game fights can drag on, and if you're not in your zone, you and your opponent's games could be ruined. Lastly, if you can't finish the fight, you're going to be low on mats, ammo, and even health, putting you in a much worse position for an endgame. But every lobby has a few psychos, so let's go over what to do if you get caught in a mid-game fight. First, you must finish the fight fast. The longer the fight lasts, the more people are going to show up in third party. The third party could end up stealing your kill and taking your loot, so do everything in your power to get the job done quickly. Next, don't get tunnel vision. Just because you get a guy low does not mean you have to push him till he's dead. He could box fight you for 5 minutes. It's just not worth your time and effort. Lastly, something I see pros do a lot but no one really notices is cycling through different materials when fighting. If you use up all your wood in a build fight, and so does your opponent, even if you win, you're going to have to refarm all that wood. Cycling through your mats gives you a better chance for a full refresh. Check out how many times Mr. Savage changes materials in this clip. To sum it up, only fight if it's 100% necessary. By necessary, I mean you have to have some super scuffed loot that you can't rotate with, or you need points to place in a tournament. It is always best to play for the win. Yes, dropping 20 kills is fun, but it's highly unlikely. Go for the easy placement points. Now let's talk about where to rotate. When deciding where to rotate, it is important to have good vision of all the players around you. Peek through a cone and hold an edit to see when and where people around you are rotating. Also, never peek through a wood cone. Opponents can see your character much easier through wood, and it makes you an easy target. It is also important to plan your routes ahead of time. Check out this clip of Mr. Savage planning multiple rotations depending on where zone pulls.
Okay, so if someone goes south, I want to avoid this open field, so I'm just going to go all the way around using this mountain, and then go up this hill, and then I'll get to a place where I have good rotates from here, since there's a lot of structures in the mountains.
What if this goes too lazy?
Then I'm gonna go to the bridge and use the river if I need to go further south. Or I might just use old builds like over here. Which go north side of retail and then rotate through.
Now, what part of the zone should you rotate to? Generally speaking, it is best to rotate to the dead side of zone. The dead side of zone is the corner of the zone farthest from where all the players are rotating in from. It will be less congested over there and lead to much safer future rotations. Doing this also avoids you getting held from players based up on the edge of zone, holding anyone rotating late. You also want to try to claim a spot in zone where you can refarm your mats. Basing up on a building or a cluster of rocks would be ideal. That way after building your base you can get back to max mats. Lastly, let's talk about how to rotate. The shortest route is almost never the best option. Try to use natural cover such as buildings, trees, or mountains to help you rotate free and conserve materials. Also, try to follow other people rotating and use their builds for cover. However, if you do have to build when rotating, try to use wood, as it is the easiest material to refarm and has the highest initial health when built. To recap everything I said in this video, first, don't take mid-game fights. Second, try to take longer and safer routes to the dead side of zone. Third, base up somewhere where you can refarm your mats. And 4, use natural cover or old builds as much as you can. Thank you all for watching. Catch me on Thursday, where I'll be covering how to tunnel in endgame. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to be sure you don't miss it, and hit that bell so you can watch it as soon as it goes live. Also, if you want to support me even more, use code Milano when buying skins in the item shop. Shout out to all these people who use my code. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, if you want a shout out in my next video, send me a picture of you using my code to my Twitter or Instagram, and I'll add you to the list. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all on Thursday. Peace.